Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Sunday. This is Game Day Live. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Pucks and Pitchforks blog contributor Vinny Parisi, streaming live on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Devils, Rangers, coming up in about an hour's time at Madison Square Garden. Vinny, this is the matchup to cap off the great week by the New Jersey Devils. Yes, I know that they lost against the Boston Bruins yesterday, but it was, I thought, a terrific effort. But the refs kind of got in the way of things. These things happen. But Devils Rangers tonight, I think winning will solve everything.
Yes. So yesterday they lost to the Boston Bruins. There are times where referees and, circumstances of the game allow a guy like Brad Marchand to just own you for an afternoon. And stuff like that is going to happen. A lot of people don't like Brad Marchand, but the fact of the matter is he's one of the very best players in the National Hockey League. And when a guy like that is rolling against a team like the Devils, who's still young, still trying to string together lots and lots of wins, those types of things are going to happen. Now, things are going to be like that from time to time this season where they lose a game like that and you got to bounce back the next day. And what a better way to bounce back than against the New York Rangers. We've been watching the Devils play the Rangers since the beginning of time, and it's been the team we've loved to hate. It's been the team that, has kind of not been in the way of the Devils, but like you want to get to the playoffs, you're probably going to have to get through the Rangers. Or if you want to win the Stanley Cup, chances are you're going to have to get through the Rangers. And we've seen some big moments over the years, and I couldn't be more excited for this game on a Sunday night. Normally, Sunday night games are kind of like that like lull kind of game. Like it's just a little weird to have the games on Sundays. But for some reason, this New York Rangers game tonight, I'm pumped up for it. I literally cannot wait.
I feel the intensity. I felt the intensity back in preseason, especially when that whole PK Subban incident with Ryan Reeves, where in my estimation, I thought it was overblown. I thought it was embellished. If you want to call it embellishment on someone, after what happened to Nico Hischier yesterday, I think the Rangers are wanting to motivate themselves by needing an enemy almost. If you think about the storylines, they need an enemy. After what Tom Wilson did to that franchise, and they beefed up and all the hype of we're not going to be pushed around anymore. This is going to be a different Rangers team. We're taking a different direction. I honestly thought they were taking the right direction. I honestly thought last year's staff and management, I thought John Davidson and all them did a great job. And then when this happened, I'm kind of Chris Drury, making the changes. I understand what he's trying to do, but at the same time is you're sacrificing with a potential long-term success by winning now with this young group. Okay, you're getting the results you want, but at the same time, I think they're just short-term gains at this point. Here comes the New Jersey Devils without Jack Hughes, the stud Dawson Mercer at Madison Square Garden. Now that is a matchup is going to be fun to watch tonight.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I can't believe the direction the Rangers have gone in the last 8 months. They were really looking like a team that is going to just rebuild this thing the right way and be a perennial playoff contender again. And they're still winning, so nobody can discredit what they've done so far this season as a team. But it's players like Panarin and Zibanejad and Kreider leading the way, and their goalie Igor Shesterkin is awesome. But
yeah,
Alexis Lafreniere has 4 points. Capo Caco has 0. And I'm not even saying that to be a troll. That's literally an issue for the New York Rangers. Like the Devils, it was Jack Hughes versus Capo Caco, and that's not even close anymore. It's more like Jack Hughes versus Bowen Byram. And people were wondering if Lafreniere was going to be competed with guys like Quinton Byfield or Tim Stützle. Well, the Devils' second draft pick in that draft is turning out to be better than all these guys we've named so far, basically. At least this
which
season
is
to begin.
amazing.
It really is. So at pick number 17 or 18, whatever, it was 18. The pick they got for Taylor Hall, of all people, he's basically outscored and outplayed Holtz, Lafreniere. Byfield hasn't even played a game yet. We talked about Stützle. He scored his first yesterday. Like, I don't know. I'm excited about the kid. I cannot wait. There's added motivation for him because I do believe with the Rangers trading up and they took the Schneider kid and then Mercer was there. So I just am excited to see what happens with this rivalry going forward. I think there's potential for there to get pretty heated over the next couple years.
Yeah, excuse me, pretty heated. And that kind of worries me a little bit with this type of game because it's going to be physical. Ryan Graves, right now, the word is that he's going to skate in pregame, game time decision. There's one of your, some beef on the team. My concern, and again, I'm not accusing the Rangers of doing anything, but my concern is Dawson Mercer, actually. Why? Because he seems to get under everybody's skin. And, well, Vinny, I think he may have a target on his back for no good reason with these type of games. Plus, PK Subban and the whole Ryan Reeves thing, I think we're going to see some ugliness tonight. I really do. And I don't know. But Dawson Mercer, I think, is going to emerge as one of those players that just, outduels the other two New York Rangers, Capo, Kako, and Lafreniere tonight.
Yeah. And, there were people saying, there were plenty of Rangers fans saying that, like, Elias Anderson was going to be better than Nico in the 2017 draft. I'm pretty sure he's, like, not even with the Rangers right now. So
Yeah.
The rivalry has gone in favor of the Devils in terms of hitting on prospects and doing better in that area. But they still got really good players like obviously Panarin, Zibanejad. More free agents want to go play there for whatever reason. I think Keandre Miller is really good and has a really bright future.
Yes.
Adam Fox might be the best defenseman in the NHL. So, I'm not going to sit here and trash talk the entire Rangers roster. It is what it is with Lafreniere and Kako so far. I have more faith in Lafreniere turning it around than I do Kako, especially since the way he plays and he's a driving the net power forward. Those kinds of things can take a little time to develop. So, Lafreniere's still probably going to turn out to be a really good player. And they're a team that they like to get under people's skin too. It's not like Panarin's a perfect angel all the time. He likes to annoy some people, and after plays are over, he's not afraid to mix it up a little bit and show what he's got. So I'm with you. I hope that everyone stays healthy, obviously. You bring up Mercer, he likes to get under people's skin. You don't want someone like Revo coming after him. But,
yeah,
hey, there's plenty of other people to protect him out there. He's playing with someone like Janssen. Subban's not afraid to back down from anyone as he kind of started this whole thing this season. Obviously, there's Graves, Hamilton. So even the goalie, Mackenzie Blackwood, he's gotten into it a little bit over the years. So we'll see what happens on that front.
Caitlin Hennelly writes in the YouTube live, Sam, give the Lobster Pasta another chance. Okay. I will. Trust me, I will. I love lobster. But yeah,
I agree with her, Sam. You gotta kill that trend quickly. You can't have that delicious looking meal be like a kryptonite, like something that is bad luck for the Devils. You need to pick out a game and be like, this is the game.
Tonight's surf and turf, because I'll tell you a reason why. You've got beef all over this game, right? You got your steak, you got your red meat, you got bullies out on the ice. Whether you're that type of player or not, it's just going to be nasty. I would expect Jesper Bratt to get involved in some of the shenanigans. There's just going to be shenanigans all over the ice. For the seafood part, you're going to see finesse. You're going to see some skill level on that crappy ice called Madison Square Garden, which is the worst ice probably in the league. Anybody knows Madison Square Garden? It's not even at ground level. I believe it's on the 4th story where the ice sits. Like it's not actually at the ground. It's terrible ice. I expect the puck to bounce around like as per usual there. And the young players, you know what? They're going to get used to it soon. But, again, get back to the food. I get it. This kind of game makes you pretty hungry. What are you eating, Vinny? What are you eating over there? I noticed you didn't tell us you were eating donuts for beer for breakfast the last Game Day Live.
Yeah, the donuts didn't bring as much luck as I thought they were going to. I'm not going to lie. I thought there was no chance that the Devils lose on a day that I eat donuts. My dinner tonight is actually undetermined. It's Sunday, been lazying around all day, watching some football, a couple upsets today. So we're working on that still. I'm not too sure. Maybe the people in the chat can help me decide what to eat for the Devils game.
Yeah. Also, what I'm thinking as well. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. It happens when you're doing too many things on the production side. Also, I think right now, and as what Andrew Gilbert said in the Facebook Live, huge statement game tonight. It all comes down to this. Again, where are the Devils at right now, this point of the season? I put out, on the Woo Report, are the Devils for real? Is this fool's gold? Because much has been said, the way they started last season and this season is the same record. But honestly, you can't even compare the two. It's totally it's like apples and oranges. Yeah, you may have the same record, but at the same time, last season, the divisions were different. Everything was different. It was no fans. You can't even, that's not even a nice sample size. You're talking about a Devils team that started off the season without Ty Smith, even Damon Severson for that matter, Miles Wood, right? 4 periods later, Jack Hughes is out. Dougie Hamilton spent practically 3 games on the shelf. Now Ryan Graves is day-to-day. We really don't know what's going on with him. But the Devils have this ability to overcome adversity. And we talked about this on the Sunday edition of the Let's Go Devils podcast earlier, that they have this uncanny ability right now to the point where, as a fan, I will stay up and watch if they're down 3-0, knowing that it's not over, which is a far cry from last season when you just sit down in the first period and first 10 minutes, you're down 4-0.
Yeah, they started last season 6-3-2, just like they did this season. And then in the following game after that record, what do? They come out and they smoke the Florida Panthers. Last year, they decided to all get COVID and spread it around the locker room, and they missed 2 weeks. And then they had to do a bunch of makeup games, and there's no fans in the stand. And who's going to get COVID next? Nobody's vaccinated. None of this, none of that. It's an entirely different feel to the year. And the way they've been winning games just feels different. Last year, they'd win a game because, like, Kyle Palmieri would score, like, a random shorthanded goal against the Boston Bruins, and it led to them winning the game 2-1. And, if Blackwood was on the bench, it was 100% guaranteed going to either be Wedgwood or the guy who ended up playing from San Jose. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. But, the goaltending situation wasn't solid behind Blackwood like it was this year. The defense is almost completely improved. Subban looks much better playing on a third-line role as opposed to a top-line role. Another year of, the younger kids getting better. Nico looks good all of a sudden in the last 5 or 6 games. He looks like a number 1 superstar center, two-way guy. We saw what Jack Hughes was doing before he got hurt. We expect him to have more of the same when he comes back. I agree with you. It's just an entirely different feel from the organization up top, feeling like they know what they're doing. Because last year there was just mass confusion. What's going to happen? What's going to go on with these games? Are they even going to play these games? And then this year it's like, we know what's going to happen. If you get hurt, you come back. Next man up. Holtz is there. Mercer's there. There are kids in the AHL that are just begging the team to call them up, where if a guy is underperforming right now, they're going to lose their job quickly. Tomas Tatar is so lucky he scored a goal because that might have saved him from getting benched for someone like Zetterlund. And so it keeps building on itself, and eventually it's going to lead to success and more success and making it to the postseason. So far compared to last year, very happy where we stand 10, 11, 12 games into the season.
Well, the pipeline keeps on producing winners here, right? Oh, 9-0 Utica Comets, that pipeline, right? And Kevin Dineen should get tremendous amount of credit because I'll tell you, I feel better about our situation with the New Jersey Devils. Since 2012, we haven't seen much other than 1 year of playoffs, which only lasted 5 games, 2 at home. But I think, Vinny, right now, like what Andrew says, it's a statement game. It makes you hungry. I know the players are hungry. I'm just still a little pessimistic right now that one of our young guns is going to get picked on. But at the same time, you know what we've seen with this team? Anybody gets picked on, they're going to swarm right at you. The Devils, unlike last season and the previous years, are going to respond. And again, it's not this whole Neanderthal mentality. It's about playing for your teammate, playing together as a team. And you're seeing that cohesive unit now starting to gel and develop that chemistry. And I pointed this out earlier on the podcast, on the Let's Go Devils podcast, Sunday edition, that when Jack Hughes comes back, Vinny, I don't think there's any messing around with the chemistry of this team. Why? Because the Dawson Mercer line is fine by themselves. The Nico Hischier line is still looking pretty damn good. If you put Jack Hughes between Sharangovich or Kuokkanen and Holtz, depending upon Sharangovich's situation, that's 3 or 4 lines you can roll any night because the Mikey McLeod line is also pulling their own weight as well.
Yeah, and I saw a comment from our friend Dan Rice last night on Twitter. I'm pretty sure it was him that tweeted this. If you're going to have Sharangovich on the 4th line, what's the point? You'd rather see someone like Tice Thompson there doing the job the way it should be done, playing with guys like McLeod. We obviously don't know what's going to happen with Miles Wood, but as far as Jack Hughes, you basically could put any wingers with them and expect them to produce. Any wingers within reason. Obviously, Kuokkanen and Sharangovich are skilled individuals. I would keep Holtz with Nico, and I kind of like Tatar there too, but the main focus has to be Janssen and Bratt playing with Mercer. I just think that's a great trio. You got to keep them together and develop the ice time and spread it out evenly and make all 3 lines productive scoring lines, and then use that 4th line when necessary, when you have to. They'll always be fresh. I think someone like Pavel Zacha works into this well. He could play with Nico, and you could try maybe getting Tatar going with Hughes when he comes back. Holtz going with Hughes if you want. Yeah, Jesper Bratwurst. There are just so many options when you add a dynamic forward like Jack Hughes back to the lineup. It's not like Nico. Like, I think the world of Nico Hischier, right? He's a true top line 2-way center, especially 4 or 5 years from now. Nobody's talking about what 28-year-old Nico Hischier is going to look like, but they should, because he's, right now at his age, looking really good. But I don't see Nico as that guy who you put someone on his line to get them going offensively. I do believe that is the case with Jack Hughes. So we'll see what happens when he comes back. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. I apologize. I made a mistake. Utica won today. They're 10-0-0. Not 9-0. 10-0-0. Getty 27. Utica can't lose. Walsh playing well. Brody Ryan, Utica is now 10-0. Josh said the same thing. Josh also said that if they go 11-0-0, we'll tie an AHL record. Again, This makes me happy. This makes me happy. And it will make me happier tonight is if you beat the New York Rangers. You beat them down. You know what? Beat them so hard tonight that. Sorry, I'm still hearing an echo, Vinny. I was trying to cover it up, but I still hear an echo. That it would be decisive, and there's no questions that the Devils are moving up in the Metropolitan Division. But at the same time, I kind of like being a sleeper team amongst all the. I mean, it's a logjam of good teams in the Metro this year. So, but take your pick. But you got to get 2 solid points against a division opponent. Not like yesterday. Like you need to get 2 solid points.
Yeah, I agree with you. Really quick, I saw that comment about the Utica Comets, and they would tie the record for the longest winning streak to start a season in AHL history. That was set by the Rochester Americans in 1984-85. So if they can get that win on Wednesday, they will tie that record with the 84-85 Americans. So hopefully they can get that done. As far as getting points in the division, it's obviously extremely important. Nobody in the Metropolitan Division is going away. The team that I predicted to come in last place was the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the team I predicted to come in second to last place was the New Jersey Devils. And both of them have gotten off to great starts. Philly's awesome, and they have all the momentum in the world with Kevin Hayes coming back and making an impact. They lost yesterday, but Philly's pretty good. Obviously the Capitals, the Islanders, the Rangers, those are the teams you expect to be at the top. And then there's the Carolina Hurricanes, who might be one of the best teams in the NHL. There's a chance that the Pittsburgh Penguins turn out to be the worst team in the division. And that's saying something because they are getting Sidney Crosby back. He's activated from COVID protocol. And Evgeny Malkin is not far around the corner. You're adding 2 top 20 centers in the history of the sport, albeit in the back 9 of their careers. They're still great and they still help you win. So the Metropolitan's a tough place right now. And to be honest, I'm with you. Stay in the middle, stay underground, catch people out by surprise. Hey, these, when they're playing them, hey, these Devils are good. That Dawson Mercer kid, he's awesome. There are a couple Bruins fans that I know that came up to me yesterday. Like, I didn't know who Dawson Mercer was. What's going on with this guy? They see him for the first time when they're playing their team. So stay under the radar, Dawson Mercer. It's okay with me if you're not getting Calder recognition right now. You'll be getting it in February, March, April when things really start to heat up. And hopefully the Devils are in a good spot by that point.
Think ahead from a couple months from now. Once the Devils get everybody back and they're gelling. You're talking about a team that has tremendous amount of speed, skill, youth. That defense starts to tighten up, and that special teams continues to improve. And on top of everything else, your last line of defense, your goaltender, our goaltender, Mackenzie Blackwood, has every incentive, and we said this yesterday on Game Day Live, to make the Olympic team. So he showcased, this is his way of showcasing, what he's got, and he's selling what he's got. I think this could be a very scary team by February. I think it could be a very, very scary team. The dynamics will change. And on top of that, would they be buyers before trade deadline?
Well, that all depends on where they are in the standings. Unless they think they can win the Stanley Cup, I wouldn't be buyers. I don't think they can win the Stanley Cup just because of youth and, plenty of development. Like teams like Colorado and Vegas, like those to me are the teams. And even though the Islanders are off to a slow start, they always seem to be doing the same thing every year. They're middling in October, November, December. And then by the time they're before you know it, you blink your eye and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Devils might not quite be there yet, but I do think there's a chance for this team to grow this year. And when they're fully healthy, it's hard to see like a true whole. Now, every player needs to get better and grow more in order to become a cup team rather than just a playoff team. But like so far, the worst player on the team this season has probably been Ty Smith. And Ty Smith is somebody that he's probably been the person we were most excited for going into the season. If you go back and watch a couple previous podcasts from before the season started, I'm talking number one, number two defenseman with this guy. And so far, he's been arguably their most disappointing player. So if he could figure it out, obviously sophomore slumps happen around the league for a century. I'm not worried about him by any means, but let's say by the time they're healthy, he starts really getting in a groove and picking up some assists on the power play and being better in his own end and not making egregious mistakes behind his own net like he has been. There's a lot to look forward to, and I'm amped up about it. Every game, I'm like, okay, what are we going to see next? What's Dawson Mercer going to do tonight? Is Alexander Holtz going to score his first career NHL goal tonight? What kind of big performance are we going to see from Nico? Is he going to be an all-star? There's a possibility. Blackwood. Team Canada, he could be an all-star. There are so many things that you can use as like signs for this team right now based on everything you and I both just said.
Yeah. Andrew Gilbert also made a great point. Sharangovich has also been the worst player, on the team as well, but that's kind of a given. Also, Rody Ryan said, I forgot about Foote. Foote needs to step it up, with the AHL team. Getty 27 says, and again, they're still developing, folks. They're still developing. We can't expect everyone to be like Dawson Mercer and Alexander Holtz, come out right out of the gate, to start their professional careers and be, lights out and just, dominating. It takes time, and Nolan Foote's a kind of different type of player. So I would expect him to improve, as time goes along. But again, winning solves everything. 10-0 for Utica Comets. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to build on.
Yeah. And maybe Nolan Foote is doing something like I haven't tuned into every game. I do have the AHL package. I've watched a couple. But, there's probably things that Foote is doing that helps them win. If he's in the lineup every single day, he's certainly not helping them lose because they haven't lost. And not every prospect is going to turn into maybe the superstar that we thought they were going to be when they were acquired for. When they traded Blake Coleman to the Tampa Bay Lightning and got Nolan Foote and then the draft pick that turned into Shakir Muhammadulin, you hope you hit on those guys, but you might not. You hope you hit on a fair amount of your prospects that are promising young kids, and then you'll turn into a really good team. You don't think Tampa Bay had players that they were really excited about that they ended up having to get rid of or move on from in favor of a third-round pick like Braden Point? Braden Point had a world's lower ceiling than someone like either of the Foote brothers when they were first drafted in the first round. And look at Braden Point now. He's one of the 10 best centers in the NHL. Different circumstances cause different players to maybe not make it. McLeod and Zaka are fine examples of being patient with guys. But, the Devils are kind of lucky that they were patient with them because a lot of teams would have kicked them both to the curb and watched them become good, solid players on other teams. So hopefully, they're able to just keep piling up these prospects.
I was one of them. And they're fans too, because I was one of them. I wrote them off.
There was a point where it was like, okay, these guys aren't really doing anything. And then it's like, well, when they did start doing something, then you see it from like, obviously hindsight is 2020, but it's like, I really gave up on a 22-year-old that was drafted 6th overall that was probably playing in a bad system on a bad team probably 2 years before he was fully developed. That's the guy I gave up on? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy in real time. I do it too. There's no doubt about it. But as far as Nolan Foote, keep the faith. That shot is awesome. We'll see what happens with him.
Yeah. Andrew says, great point, Vinny. Patience with Zaka especially. And you know what? He has been, I would say, the most reliable Devils player right now. And when he got that contract, and remember there was that thing with the contract, and we all laughed at him. It was like, come on, dude. You're lucky you're even getting paid. Well, he's earned his pay. I mean, he has absolutely earned his pay. And you know what? His future is bright. And what's great about Zaka's game is he's starting to take control. Take control in situations, because he's so big. And now he's added muscle to that frame. He's got the experience right now and now the confidence that, you know what, he potentially could be a perennial 30-30 player, 30-40 player, depending upon how things go in the next couple of years. But he could be one of those guys where you could just rely upon to win those battles, especially physically, but also score that clutch goal. So, the future's bright
And
with Zacha.
don't underestimate the power of having Patrick Elias in your corner. That is
Yeah.
something that Pavel Zacha has for more reasons than just being a New Jersey Devils forward. They have the Czech connection. And don't be surprised if Zacha plays for Team Czech in the Olympics. Actually, be more surprised if he doesn't. So,
Yeah.
I agree with 30-30. That would be awesome from Pavel Zacha. He's what, 24? If he's
Yeah.
a good, solid winger that can kill penalties and use his big frame to help guys like Nico, Jack, create offense, be a good, reliable player. When he gets hurt, you see how subpar his replacement is compared to him. That's all I'll say on that.
Yeah. And Nico Hischier, again, great team leader. Doing all. I mean, he's doing everything. I mean, he even mixes it up every once in a while. He gets feisty and mad, and that's what I
Yeah.
want to see out of the captain. I mean, there's something to be said. Like when Scott Stevens was the captain of the team, he led by example. He didn't even have to say anything, and he had that quiet presence with him where you just don't mess with Scott Stevens. Some players are like that, and I think Nico has a little bit of it, and he also has a little bit of feistiness where he's got that drive, and that's what makes Nico Hischier Nico Hischier. So again, everything is looking very positive, both the top six and the bottom six, but Tatar again, got to get him going, because once Tatar gets going and the team is gelling, it's virtually unstoppable, this offense. Once Jack Hughes comes back, and if Tatar can, add some sizzle to the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Until Jack Hughes is a perennial 95, 100, if this ever happens, of course. Until this happens, the 95 to 100 points a season, I still say Nico Hischier is the best player on the team. Best forward.
Mm.
You can argue Dougie Hamilton, Blackwood, of course. Best forward right now, Nico Hischier. If Jack Hughes really booms offensively, then I do think it's probably him, because he has shown he can create turnovers. He's a wizard at stealing the puck from his opponents and then turning that into offense. So it's going to be a battle between those two for that distinction on the Devils. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter, because having both of them be so different yet so the same is an awesome thing to have going forward. So I'm with you. Get Tatar going, and it's a really good forward group.
Yeah. All right, just wrapping up, Vinny. Devils Rangers predictions. Let's go over
10-0
predictions.
Devils.
Really?
I'm gonna go 10-0. No, obviously not 10-0 Devils. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a rather low scoring game, because Mackenzie Blackwood and Igor Shesterkin are awesome. I'll go 3-2. I'll go 3-1 Devils. Obviously in regulation, and it's not an empty net. They score 3 legit goals.
I'm going to say this is how the game's going to go. The Devils get hot early. Quiet the crowd. Madison Square Garden crowd. It's going to sound like a morgue. And the Devils are going to be up 3-0. And then the Rangers are going to do their shenanigans. Shenanigans. They're going to pull something. Cheap shot here, cheap shot there, whatever. And then they're going to start roaring back. But in the end, the dagger is put in the back of the New York Rangers, and the Devils win in regulation 4-3. And we're going to have a great Devils After Dark, Scotty and I, recapping the game that was, the same Scotty of SiriusXM, Liquid Metal. And we're going to have a big Happy Devils recap. Keep it here. And, Mason Gearston is in, says Damian Rasputin on the YouTube Live. That's great. I love some beef. I want some beef, because remember what I just said. Shenanigans all over the place. You got the PK Subban saga. You got the Dawson Mercer, which I'm worried about because he's going to piss off somebody because he's just that good, and it's just going to annoy people. And Dawson Mercer does not know any better, but he's a big boy. He can handle on his own. So far, he's held his own. He doesn't need anybody to protect him. But Nico and the rest of the guys are going to, and and I'm hoping that Ryan Graves plays tonight. That's what I'm hoping for. But of course, we don't know because we never know. We never know, Vinny. But that's okay. That's what we still pregame anyway.
Absolutely. We're always going to be pre-gaming. Hopefully these guys get in. I'm not too surprised Geertsen is getting in the lineup with the reputation that the Rangers have built for themselves. So let's go punch our way to a win if we have to. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's ask Facebook Live. Are you in? Are you in? The Have No Mercy line? You like that? The No Mercy line?
Actually.
Yes.
I
forgot who mentioned that. Mentioned that today. I can't take credit for that. The No Mercy line. You kill them. You kill those Rangers. You take them out. You don't give them an inch. New Jersey Devils. Not an inch. It's just like even our fandom. Sometimes, I know it's not classy, but sometimes I'm yelling at Ranger fans, even though some of them are like, a little bit younger. And they're like, Sam, there's kids around. You got to beat them down when they're young. You got to say Rangers suck. That's what I have back here. Some signed autographs from New Jersey Devils, former New Jersey Devils players.
What do the Islanders sing? If you know the Rangers suck, clap your hands. Clap.
Yeah, and then the Flyers one is if you know your house goes if the wheels on your house go round and round, round and round. That's another one. And then there's and then you got the organ. We played that before, and then you say Rangers suck. And then what else? Or how many cups does Lundqvist have? 0, 0. How many cups does Marty have? 3 more than you. 3 more than you. 3 more than you. Yeah, that.
You're a wonderful singer.
Oh, thank you. Oh, by the way, it's karaoke night at Sandbar Sports Grill, Cocoa Beach, Florida, as the podcast will be traveling after Devils After Dark. I'm going to be on the Woo Mobile, the General Woo. It's already packed. We talked about this. It's packed. It's got stuff all over the place. Bringing the equipment down, doing a live podcast at what Sandbar Grill, Sports Grill. Sorry, I forgot the name. And also we'll be outside Amalie Arena. For all you Devils fans traveling and going to the Tampa Bay Lightning game on the 20th, we'll be at Amalie Arena outside on Thunder Alley. Nick Villano and I will be there. Also, Wednesday's podcast, State of the Fan Address. We got a big guest, but I don't know if I'm allowed to reveal, but you were on that group text, and I was like, holy crap. We better get it right. No tech issues on Wednesday. We can't have screw-ups. We can't have echoes. Heck, that person would brand us as a bunch of losers if we screw that one up. We'll get it right. State of the Fan Address. Keep it here. But also, Devils After Dark. Let's go, Devils. I want to hear you. Let's go, Devils. You're like a mix of Fergie and Jesus, Sam, says Josh.
Sam, you're the songbird of our generation.
Maybe I should sing before we go. Want to thank everybody listening in, dropping the podcast a little bit later on our podcast pages. Vinny, thank you very much. Enjoy the podcast. Till next time, let's go Devils.